Hey guys, it's Jené with KCF CrossFit, and this rowing technique video is inspired by someone who a couple weeks ago during a discussion about the proper catch position on the rower mentioned that at this point in their weight loss journey they weren't able to get their bodies up close enough to the flywheel to have that nice vertical perpendicular shin position. So what should they do about that? Also useful for the pregnant women in the gym. So if you've got that baby taking up space in your belly in front of you and you can't get into your normal catch position, how do you handle that? Other reasons you might not be able to get in that position are ankle and hip mobility. So this would also be a good way to modify around your ankle mobility or hip mobility while you work on that in your life. So when we talk about the ideal catch position, we're talking about those vertical shins at the end of the rower. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we come over to our rower. If you're in your ideal catch position, that means that your shins are perpendicular to the floor. So here we're talking about the idea of lengthening your stroke and making sure that you're getting the most distance out of each pull. And then having your heels down in this position is what allows you to get all of that power through your legs. So the ideal is vertical legs. So if you can't get into this position, one of the natural tendencies is just to let your knees kind of splay out a little bit so that you feel like you're getting close enough to the flywheel to get that length and that shape. But we actually don't want to do this. It doesn't give you the power through your heels. Doesn't allow you to use all those big muscles in the back of your legs, engage all the larger muscles in your posterior chain. And more importantly, it introduces bad mechanics, it introduces bad habits, and it's going to be really hard to break those habits later as your mobility improves, as you gestate that baby and find yourself back to your pre-pregnancy body. And then you're going to have all these habits that you're going to need to break of letting your knees come out to the side. So what you want to think about here is just shortening the length of your stroke. So instead of coming all the way up to the catch at a full stroke position, you might think about in that recovery only coming about halfway, called a half slide, or even a 3/4 slide. So basically what you want to think about is not coming past the point where you can keep your shins in line with your legs, not letting your knees splay out. And one of the easiest ways to find this position is to just push back at the point where your heels come up. So as soon as you lift your heels, you want to think about bringing them back down. So if this is where my heels start to come up because I've got some ankle mobility or hip mobility issues, then this is where I would push right back out and start my drive. So lots of different options. It's a rather long monorail, so you have a lot of space to play with. You might notice that your stroke rate is going to be a little bit higher when you're only running at a half slide stroke or a 3/4 slide stroke, and that's okay. It's going to feel a little bit frantic when you first start, but it's going to reinforce good mechanics in your drive. It's going to help you develop those good habits so that as your mobility gets better, you can get back into that ideal position. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any other questions about rowing or anything that you want to see or anything you want to know about, let me know. Happy to add that to my list of things to talk about. Thanks.